And so, when the world needed him the most, he returned. No, I'm not talking about myself. Of course not. You guys don't fucking deserve me. I'm talking about the school bus man. If you haven't met him yet, you will soon. But now that I am here, coincidentally, let's talk a little bit about Tomodachi Life. I'm really excited for the new Tomodachi Life game. So in this video, we are gonna go a little bit kind of taking a look at the trailer, but also I want to give out like my ideas for what the game actually can offer and what kind of ideas would be really fun to include in the next Tomodachi Life game. So let's begin by looking at the trailer a little bit and see what we can find from there. Let's go over the obvious stuff first. The graphics, much better. Of course, new console, makes sense. The island that the Miis live in, for some reason, a lot longer than I thought it would be. Then, of course, you see Miis roaming around, which I think is great, because that makes so much sense. It's something I never thought about, but it makes so much sense to have the Miis roaming around so you don't have to wait for any events to really make the Miis do something. They can bump into other Miis at any time, they can interact with the environment at any moment. I think it's great. Also, you have probably already seen, because I assume you have eyes, that the Miis now live in small houses instead of a big hotel, and I think that is a good idea if you're going for a more open environment for the Miis to interact in. And also, of course, living the dream. We are now in a tropical setting, a tropical vacation for these Miis, which just makes me think about Animal Crossing New Horizons. Like, come on, Nintendo, do you have like any other ideas for a cool setting with your life simulation games? No? Tropical Island again? Fine. I mean, I'm excited, but, fine. And then we can also see a couple of like shops in the town. A lot of stuff that you would already expect from a Tomodachi Life game, stuff that they had in the first two games. And by the first two games, I mean, of course, the second game on the 3DS. No one has played the first game, it was like Japan exclusive on the DS. Who gives a shit? So the first shop that we're gonna take a look at is the grocery store, where you can buy food, just like in the previous game. Maybe in this one you can buy ingredients for your Miis and cook them food yourself. I don't know. And hey, maybe a similar philosophy goes for the renovation store as well. Maybe instead of buying ready-made, rooms, you can just buy furniture and wallpaper separately, so you can do a bit more customization for the rooms that your Miis have. Then a facility that we have is the Mii News, where Miis every now and then report some lunatic news that has happened apparently on the island that you just missed out somehow. And then we have a clothing store, which I assume will be a store where you buy clothing, and that is it. Maybe having some custom clothing could be cool though, but who knows. We can also see a store called The Right Price, which is just the place where you probably go and sell all of your treasures you get from playing mini games with your Miis, which is, for me at least, the place where I get most of my money I spend in that game. And then the new shop that we see is a quick build. We don't really know what this is. Could be a furniture store, separate from the renovation store, I guess. I'm not sure. But could also be that you can put more stuff on the island. That would be nice. So that's mostly what we can see from the trailer. I think looking at a few of the Miis there, they might have makeup on, which was the brand new feature added to the Miitopia remake. And a lot of people want that in Tomodachi Life because that gave so much more creativity on what kind of Miis you could create. And a lot of the Miis that people made for Miitopia Remake were just amazing. So of course we want that. Another commonly requested feature, aside from makeup, has been the same-sex relationships, which were not included in the previous games. And of course, Nintendo got a lot of backlash for that. And in the current political environment, it would be really interesting to see what Nintendo does. A lot of people are going to complain if they are not included. And a lot of people will also unfortunately complain because they are included. I think the funniest solution that Nintendo could do in this case is that no one's just allowed to be in a relationship anymore. Everyone's just gonna, turn out they're kind of like a couple, but at the same time, they're only just roommates. I think that would be so funny, and I hope Nintendo does that. Okay, so there won't be same-sex relationships anymore, but guess what? Fuck you straight people as well. But how about some other new ideas? Well, one thing is that for me, I played the game again a couple of months ago, and I loved it. It's a cool experience, but it does get boring after about a month, whereas other life simulation games, Animal Crossing, that was an actual cough, oh my god. But yeah, other life simulation games feel like they have a longer, life cycle. Whereas Tomodachi Life, once you've seen like all of the dreams that the Meeks can have and tried out a lot of unique things, the game is just very similar afterwards. It's great when you get your first couple and they get married and have their first baby, but when that has happened 20 times already, it gets a little bit boring. So you just make up new characters and wait for them to do the same things over and over again. So I would like some longevity in this game. I'm not sure, could you like unlock more parts of the island and what's like the long game that you could have, but I definitely want to see more built up. Another thing that I want to see more built up is just playing with people. In the previous game, that wasn't much the case. But what it did have was Street Pass. Street Pass, of course, you could send some of the children that you didn't want to participate in the rest of the fun on the island, you could send them traveling. And by traveling, if you got a Street Pass, they would visit the other person, then come back sometimes and bring you gifts. And that was, something. But I think it would be really great if we could see this kind of feature returning in some way, but as like an online version. You could possibly like see what kind of villagers or island inhabitants, let's not go too far into Animal Crossing territory with our terms there, you could see like the islanders that your friends have, and they could visit you sometimes and your islanders could visit them or something like that. I'm not sure if we can go like full co-op territory here, because this is kind of like a god game where you control these people on the island and there's not really like a player persona, at least as far as we know, that can like handle everything. I don't think that kind of interaction is possible, but it would be nice to have a little bit more social features built into this game, and I think that would be a really good idea, considering like Animal Crossing blew up during the pandemic times. It's a very social game, and what sells nowadays really well is getting streamers on your side, and if the streamers can interact with each other or with their audience, that's gonna incentivize more and more people on the socials talking about this game, which will lead to a lot of sales, of course. So I think that would be great. Another, I think, a brilliant idea that I had in my previous Tomodachi Life video, which was years ago at this point, was that in addition to the songs from the previous game, where you gave a song to me, they could sing it with their weird robot voice, but you could also edit the lyrics to be whatever you want, and then you could hear your me sing this nonsense song, and it was just great. It was wonderful. It was really funny. And I feel like we could expand on that by not only having songs, but also making like small movies. You can kind of think of it as a play where you give lines to a me, they say them, they react in a certain way, and then there's other me's who have their lines and their own reactions to what is being said. Imagine that, but you can edit the lines and you can make short movies, you can share on social media. I think that is amazing meme potential. Like, imagine the memes. Nintendo, please do this. We need the memes. This is what I think Miitomo, the stupid Nintendo application that they released like 10 years ago and killed it off like a month later. This is kind of what they wanted to do. Like, you could, in that one, you could just make pictures with your Mii characters as freely as you wanted and share them around. I liked that back when that game came out, but I want more. And I think getting that DNA for Tomodachi Life and expanding it, making movies, brilliant. I love that idea. Definitely go for that. But that is what I wanted to talk about with Tomodachi Life. But don't be afraid, I will talk about Tomodachi Life a lot more in the upcoming months before the game releases and after it has releases, because I am very excited for this game. I like this now more than Animal Crossing New Horizons was not my cup of tea. So I'm really excited. But if you like this video, press the like button. That's what it's for. Subscribe, like I mentioned earlier. And you know, what else is there to say? This game looks fantastic, and the Mii's, they're finally living the dream. You know what I mean? Please buy my new CD. Bye bye.